Wow. I woke up this morning, obviously. I woke up this morning and I couldn't get this out of my head. Behold, I make all things new. And I was thinking about that. I've been doing a lot of really deep work this week. And I just kept hearing it. Behold, I make all things new. And when I say I don't mean something outside of myself is going to make it new for me. I'm going to make it new. The I am that I am is going to make it new for me. And the reason I need something new is because that's the creative power force that lives within me, is always creating anew. But sometimes when I wake up, I don't know about any of you, but you wake up and you immediately try to grasp yesterday to make sure, and my theory is to remember your identity. Because you're waking up new, right? All night we've let it go and we wake up and then all of a sudden it's like, yesterday, so that I can remember who Patrick is. Because God forbid I would just wake up and just, wow, a brand new day. What's this all about? So we're talking about troubled waters only for the idea that we've all had some troubled waters. Anybody in the room have ever had troubled waters, whatever that means? Yeah, exactly. And I think I don't know if it's as natural as we make it, but I do think that the troubled waters, I know a lot of people that are going through some troubled waters and they're scared and they're getting this and there's diagnosis and there's all these things. And the last thing they want to really hear is, all is well, all is good. And that's not what I'm saying, and I don't know if anybody that's in science of mind and spirit, if they're saying that, please tell them to call me. Because what we're really doing here is we're looking at our challenges in a brand new way. A brand new way. And I had two questions I wanted to share with you. And the first one was, have you ever been so overwhelmed that you just needed someone or something to just carry you? Have you ever felt that? I mean, I sometimes, I just want to go, you want to go back to that little, carry me. I don't want to have to figure anything out. And I understand that. And then the other thing is then we're praying, help, help, help. At least I used to pray for the help, I'm in a jam, help. And it's like, I don't know where you are, but help. And sometimes that's one of the deepest prayers you can ever have. Help. Help. Nothing's wrong with me. I just need you to carry me for a minute. Or as Rita and I always talk about, sometimes I'm rowing the boat, sometimes we're both rowing the boat, sometimes she's rowing the boat, and I'm just having a beer. Oh, I mean, not a beer, praying. So the question is, what if the bridge you're praying for, wanting, is already within you? And I believe it is. It's already within you. What if that bridge, and I see it like this, I got God bumps, so that means something's happening here. We used to call it chicken skin or whatever they call it, but I see this bridge of consciousness, and there's a sea of troubled water, and that's the things I'm going through. But I'm not sure that we're always wanting to crawl into the water. And I'll get through it. No, there's a bridge that we have, that we came here with of consciousness that says, I'm going to look at it from here. It is so hard sometimes to solve anything if you're in the sea of troubled waters. But when you are standing in this bridge of consciousness and you're going, whoa, wow. And that's what we were talking about, dimensions. Everybody's into dimensions. 5th dimension, 20th dimension, dimensions. All I know is that the only dimension I don't want to be in is the troubled water of the 3rd dimension. Now, the 3D world, the world of conditions. I love the world of conditions. It tastes really good. Tastes good, it feels good, all the senses are alive. But there is a sense that we can go beyond our senses, beyond those senses, and be even freer than we were before. July 18th was Nelson Mandela's birthday. I'm in love with him, by the way, and he knows it in the spirit world. He says, boy, that guy's in love with me. I remember being in LA, and nobody would go with me to go see Nelson Mandela. And he was at this huge stadium, whatever, I think it was something to do with baseball. Anyway, there was this big stadium, and I remember being so scared. I was like 20-something, probably 25, 24. And I went by myself. I lived in Hollywood. I drove myself down there on getting out, and it was like this whole new world to me. And I went to see Nelson Mandela. And I remember my whole vibrational frequency that I didn't call it that at the time. I call it my gut reaction at that time. And I went, I feel different just being in his presence. And so I ran into this beautiful, beautiful quote of his that has carried me through most of my life since I've heard it, at least. And I figured today I would give you 2 antidotes for troubled waters that you can take home with you. The first antidote is forgiveness. Oh, I knew he'd bring that up. And the second one is gratitude. And if you're not interested in either of them, that's great. That's your business. And we're only here to share what we have, right? But forgiveness is an antidote for me, and gratitude. And this was his wonderful quote that has saved my life numerous times. As I walked out the door toward the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew that if I did not leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I'd still be in prison. As I walked out the door toward the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I'd still be in prison. 27 years this man was in prison. 27 years. Is he a saint? No, I don't even know what a saint is, actually. But what he was somebody who had purpose. I'm going to get out of here. And when I get out of here, we're going to change things for the better. We're going to have democracy. We're going to have people to the best of our ability. And we all know the story of what he had to go through to get that done. Even his wife, who was there actually, Winnie, I think that's her name, Winnie, she was totally against his lovely way of forgiving everybody. She was like, that doesn't make any sense. We got to fight this stuff. And he said no. And how I tried to relate it to my life was in my book, The Memoir of a Little Man, the prince, finding the prince in the ashes of chaos, dysfunction, mental illness. I spent a lot of years in non-forgiveness. But I knew in the very depths of my soul, I knew that that was only putting me in prison. Every time I had an idea that somebody said to me, actually a young man, 17, 16, read my book. And it was really changed this young man's life. And he said to me, there's a chapter in there, was there anything good about my father? Because I knew if I couldn't find anything good about this man who caused a family such disruption and such pain and such misery, that I'd never be free. I knew unless I found something good. And he said, I don't understand how you could write a chapter. And he goes, typical kid, he said, and it was a long chapter. And so I said, well, he goes, what'd you do? I said, I went out in search of something good so I could find something good while I hated him. And he said, well, when did you finally forgive? And I wanted to, in my saintly world say, it was easy, I just forgave him and went on with it. No, it took years and years and years. And so he said, well, what was the final thing? Because I guess he's got some forgiveness stuff he's doing too, right? I said, when I stopped saying F you, and I started saying thank you. Thank you? No, not thank you. Thank you so much for all the abuse. It was a lovely 15 years. Thank you. No, it was thank you for showing me what I did not want to be. That was my gratitude. Thank you. Thank you for showing me what I did not want to be and what I became despite you. It was a reward, and then I could love him. I'm sure that he was not born and when coming out going, I can't wait to torture my son's life. I'm positive. There's a mirror that we all look at, and the antidote for me is gratefulness. Can I find the gratefulness? And so the little thing I'm going to leave with you, because you guys all talk about tools so much. What's the tool? I need a tool. Can I take a tool? Do you like tools? Always. See? I put certain people in the audience, so I use this in my inner child work. I use this thing: reframing, reclaiming, and renaming. Then I started to use it in my practice as a practitioner, because how I was able to do a lot of stuff was to look at a situation that I named a certain thing and reframe it. And now, here's the little contradiction with this. People try, oh, you mean you just pretended like it didn't happen? No, please do not put words in my mouth. I did not pretend it didn't happen. It happened. But I had got to look at it from not my inner child who was scared out of his mind. I got to look at it with a perspective of me holding my inner child and taking my inner child and saying, what do you think now? What did you feel? It's an exercise with yourself. I love self-dialogue. You can do it with journaling. But I go, what did you feel during that time? I was scared. I was confused. Oh, that must be just, to be confused. Before we go on, I just want to let you know that this should never have happened to you, because you were the most beautiful, sensitive, beautiful young boy that I could ever imagine, Patrick. But it did, so let's look at it. Why were you confused? I didn't know why he was so angry, and I didn't know about, that would confuse me as well. So as you start to reframe, then what we're doing is we're reclaiming the parts of ourselves that we think are gone or never got expressed, because we're finally listening to ourselves. We're finally saying, what did you really feel, instead of get her done, get out of here, and let's go. That's what dysfunctional and abusive thing. You get out as quickly as you can, and then you grow up and you just become the man that is still confused, still scared, and all of the things that go on. That's why my work in inner child and my work in self-love is so damn important. Because when we have our self-love, and the way we get there is by reframing it, looking back at it, and then, I love it because tie in the bridge, and then we're reclaiming it because we're crossing the bridge and we're gathering those parts and that part of ourselves. For me, it was, I had this idea that I would get in a helicopter and I'd go save my inner child. Swoop up. And he's saved. And then I realized all that part of me needed to know was that the war was over. He was running around in circles, as we tend to do at times. We're running around and we have to go, come here. I love you. The war is over. Well, who am I then if the war is over? Who am I? And then the last one is to rename it. Oh, that's the fun one. We get on new ground. We get off the bridge, right? And then we get a new, not story. God, we have enough stories, don't we? We have so many. We all write in books. We got stories all over the place. But what we get the opportunity to have is a new identity. A new identity. You're not, whatever's going on, I just use that because it happened to me, but that can happen on a weekly basis. What's my new identity? I can't have a new identity if I'm waking up grasping onto my old one. And so there's this bridge that I have crossed over, And then you're going to go back and you'll probably be just as confused as you move forward, because it'll all be new, it'll all be brand new. And to close with this, there's nothing wrong with us. There never has been, and there never will be. But ignoring ourselves is not the answer. It's infusing ourselves with this incredible thing called life, love, and like the song says, like a bridge over troubled water. And this is where you go into self-love. I will ease my mind. I'm not alone. I never have been. During that whole book I wrote, I was never alone. There was something always there to guide me, to love me, and now I get to go out in the world and love. So just take a moment as I close this to remember that there is this beautiful, beautiful, pure potentiality that I call the inner child. You can call it anything you want, but it is there, has always been, and always will be. This pure potentiality that says, I am here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Let's play. Let's love. And I take that moment to say, I see you, I hear you, I love you, and we got this. And so it is.